which of these points is on the graph or on the line? If they ask you to determine whether a point is on a graph or on a function, you have two options. You can graph the function and find out if these 2 points, if any of these 4 points are on the function. That's one way of doing it. So you can always make the graph and find out if it crosses any of those 4 points. Or you can just plug it in, x and y. So it's up to you. You get to choose. I'm going to plug it in. Let me organize my work as I go through so I can double check if I'm doing it correctly. If I go through all 4 of them and they're all false, I know I did something wrong. So letter A, y is equal to negative 2x plus 1 plus 2. Instead of the x, I'm going to plug in a 2. Instead of the y, I'm going to plug in an 8. Simplify what's inside the absolute value first, so it gives me 3. And the absolute value of 3 gives me positive 3. Remember that you want to simplify what's inside the absolute value first. That gives me negative 2 plus 2. So it gives me a negative 6 plus 2. Is that going to be negative 4? Is that going to be 8? No. So letter A is not your answer. Let's try letter B. Let's plug in, instead of the y, I'm going to plug in a 6. Instead of the x, I'm going to plug in a 1. Simplify what's inside the absolute value first. That gives me 2 plus 2 times negative 2. Simplify what's inside the absolute value first. So that gives me a positive 2 times negative 2 plus 2. Negative 4 plus 2 is that negative 2 is equal to 6. No. So let's try letter C. Instead of the y, I'm going to plug in a negative 4. Instead of the x, I'm going to plug in a negative 4. Plus 1 plus 2. Simplify what's inside. That gives me a negative 3. Remember, you want to simplify what the absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3. We have plus 2 plus 2, and we have a negative 2. That gives me a negative 6 plus 2, negative 4. Is that equal to negative 4? Yes. And double check. Did I do everything correctly? Yes. So you answer the letter C.